This is Justin Orndorff of Baseball Rebellion, and what I'm going to show you today is really the big difference between landing on the ball of your foot and landing on the heel. So what you're looking at here is a clip of the left where I'm landing on the ball of my foot, and a clip here on the right where I'm landing on my heel. So I wanted to make sure that I provided both examples in the same bullpen session and with the same angle of release, so we have a very big constant. And so I'm going to show you here where the delivery's exactly the same throughout the throw. So this would be the ball of foot example, and here you can see this would be the heel example, just so you can get an idea of the delivery and the pattern that I was using. Okay, so I used both full wind up for each. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go to the point to where the body starts to make contact with the ground. So here on the left, we're going to go right to where you can see as I'm coming down here on the toe, okay, we're going to go to where the toe officially makes contact with the ground. And we're going to do the same thing here to where the heel officially, let me scoot it over, makes contact with the ground right there. And now we're going to sync these two up. Okay, so at the point of impact here, one lower half looks dramatically different than the other. Now, the only thing that has changed in the course of the delivery is the mindset, whether or not I want to land on my heel or whether I want to land on the ball of the foot. Okay, so if we go ahead and we trace the leg, okay, going up into the hips here with the ball of the foot landing, the key kind of frame here and the point of emphasis is this line here and how it is different from the line where I land on my heel. Okay, so what you're going to see is this line here. If when I land on the ball of my foot, my heel's more under the knee, and in this clip the heel is out in front of the knee, and we're going to talk in a moment of why this is so much more important. But for right now, what we're going to look at really is distribution of mass of my upper body. Okay, so if we focus on really waist up here, we're going to see that the body is in a different position right as there's firm contact in the ground. And what you can see here is if you look at from the neck, if I kind of just trace a line here down to the base of the spine, and I do the same thing over here, what you're going to see is just from one view to the other, there's just going to be less curvature in the spine. So over here, and where the heel hits, there's more of my center of my mass is going to be back, and my head position is going to be more located behind my rear hip. Okay, and here my head position starts to get, and we'll stay constant with the ear, it starts to get a little bit closer. Okay, so what happens is if I'm going to rotate my upper body, I want to try to rotate as much mass as I possibly can because I'm trying to delay the upper torso from leaking and rotating forward. I want to make sure I have a firm contact in the ground. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go one more frame to where on the left here the heel hits, and on the right my toe hits. Okay, so this is one more frame into the throw. And what you're going to see in this frame is on the left here, the shoulders are starting to open up. Okay, so because my weight has essentially become a little bit more forward, okay, the shoulders have to open up, and my arm is going to start getting accelerated to the zone more outside of my body. Okay, and I have less time for it to develop in the back end. Okay, so as we go one more frame, what you're going to see, this is kind of really the key frame. If you look here at the shoulders, they're a little bit more open. And here, if you look at the forearm, you can see that it's already kind of starting to go into external rotation. Here, the forearm's still in the vertical position. It's aligned with the mass of my trunk. So we go one more frame. Now it starts its external rotation, okay? And again, you can see that the mass, okay, because we're going to look at the base of the spine again. So you can see here that my torso is still back, allowing that arm to start to externally rotate. And in this one, it's already started to leak forward. Okay, so this is kind of the key frames, is when it starts to play a role in the health of my shoulder and my elbow in terms of allowing everything to sequence up and start to accelerate together. and we go one more frame, you can see here that the elbow is much further closer to my head. It's starting to get pulled forward faster. Here the elbow is still delayed and is staying with the center of the mass. Now again, this is all because I'm just trying to stay and land on my heel, and this is kind of the corresponding result. So as we go in here to ball release, what you're going to see is really the key frame here of the foot became disconnected to where here my hips can stay stable and I'm still staying connected to the ground. And if I'm staying connected to the ground, it's going to continue to allow my whole upper torso to continue to keep the energy and rotate into my body. Okay, so if we back up here again briefly and we go to this frame here, all right, the reason that this angle here of the front leg is so valuable, and I mentioned this early in the article, is because the heel's out in front of the knee, when the contact makes with the ground, the muscles more within the glutes, okay, and the hips can activate and allow my whole upper torso to continue to do this movement of rotation. And what you're going to see here, because the heel's under the knee, okay, there's more activation directly into the quad, to the shin, and to the calf, and this front leg is just going to straighten quicker. Okay, see how it's fully lengthened. I still have flex here because the knee is going to have to kind of come back in because of the force, and it has to contract. Okay, so the body has to release this energy sooner instead of over here. It can continue to delay. All right, so we're going to progress forward here, and I'm going to show you a couple other examples really quickly of, here's one student that was taught to land on the ball of his foot when he first came in for his evaluation. So you can see here he's going to the ball of his foot, here's into the ground, and as we progress here he is months later, and he's starting to get to the heel. All right, now in this case this can be valuable because we're trying to get the arm up earlier. So as he goes firmly into the ground here, his arm is up. It's one frame late and he's already starting to leak forward. Okay, here and again his whole mass can move together into the throw. Okay, here he's just going to push forward as much. Okay, so if we go one more frame, here's an independent ball player who was also forced to land on the ball of his foot. Okay, he couldn't get his arm up quite as early. This is, now he's off the mound. He's trying to get his heel out in front of him. And you see here his arm's fully up as he rotates. And then it allows him to really get lower in his overall finish to where he was here. Okay, so this is Justin Arndorf of Baseball Rebellion, and these are the difference between laying on your heel compared to the ball of your foot. Thank you.